Hello, YouTube!
What up, guys?
Welcome to another edition of Squared Circle Discussions. Tonight we'll be covering
Both SmackDown Live.
SmackDown Live and 205 Live
Which
from August
happened
15th to 2017 in Providence, Rhode Island.
Yep. But before we get there, I was reading some fan fiction recently, and one of the ones that came up was it was kind of like a preference thing, where it was WWE star you missed the most, and it said Wade Barrett. Him leaving was bad news, and I realized this was a horrible pun, but it had me laughing because, well, Wade Barrett's thing before he left was Bad News Barrett, and when I told it to T here, which is why he's slunched over.
Oh, hey, I don't know what you're talking about.
He totally facepalmed because
Kind of like I am right now.
Why? But I figured I would at least share that with you guys before we got into that.
Hardy. So we start off SmackDown Live with the WWE Champion Jinder Mahal and the Saiyajin Brothers.
Which they both actually look like they're doing a lot better than they were recently.
Well, they were off for weeks, so they get the excuse of we're totally cleared.
We're good now.
Yeah, but consistency isn't a thing with the company at all.
So Jinder starts running his mouth and talks of India's Independence Day, which I will admit I thought that was actually
had the whole shebang. They had the dancers, the music.
It was actually really fun.
They even had an old woman come out to sing the national anthem,
which I thought was really cool. The crowd was booing, but I still think that was actually kind of cool, incorporating that into...
Jinder says how he's going to take on and destroy Cena tonight, and then...
The crowd starts chanting USA.
And then we have Nakamura come out and saying how... Now, I thought this was one of his better promos. He comes out saying how this is also an independent... they're celebrating something for Japan as well.
I think it has to do with those that died in war in Japan. Which, again...
And says that
I think it's really cool that they incorporated that.
Oh, I love that too. It was a good part of the promo because how they both are with their culture. Well, at least with Nakamura. But at the very least, the Nakamura says that the Nakamura dynasty will start by taking Jinder's title at SummerSlam.
Yeah. And then
and I thought, what were your thoughts on Shinsuke's promo?
I've been a fan of the King of Strong Style, as I call him, since his days in NXT. And the more I watch him, the more I'm blown away and mesmerized by what he does in that ring.
Great first, it was actually a pretty good opening segment.
It was.
Leave your thoughts down below.
Of course. Please. We want to know everything that you guys have to say about it. We want to know your thoughts and your opinions, because your opinions do matter. So, next is Natalya versus Becky Lynch. The announce team talks of Ric Flair's health and gives updates and sends their well wishes. And notably, Charlotte's not there because she is by her father's side.
Should we as well? Because we didn't talk about it in this discussion yet.
Of course.
Well, as we said in our previous Raw video, there has been an update on Flair.
He did go for surgery. It was not for colon. He is still in critical condition. We're sending our well wishes.
# prayers for Rick.
# Nature Boy. And I personally send lots of prayers and hugs, because I do like sending out hugs. I send out hugs to Charlotte right now.
But on to other things. We have Becky Lynch versus Naomi. Natalya.
Naomi comes out and has to commentary. So it's Becky versus Natty. There's a lot of locking up, flattening, kickouts.
There was a nice back exploder.
Really beautiful back exploder by Becky. Natty attempts to lock in the sharpshooter. Becky kicks out.
Now Becky comes off the top rope for a leg drop, misses, and then as she's like, my spine. Natalia comes in, rolls over for a sharpshooter, and she taps out. And I'm pretty sure Naomi was also ringside for commentary.
Yes, Naomi was there throughout the entire thing. Natty then goes and attacks Becky after Natty won. And it looks as if it sounded like Naomi said basically, "What the F?"
So then Carmella came out to cut a promo and be like, got the briefcase. Have fun at SummerSlam.
Ugh. And she also had James Ellsworth with her.
Yeah, that did not help. The match was fine. The segment was... It could have been better.
I have to say, one of my favorite parts was Naomi on commentary.
Yeah, that was actually one of the better spots.
And it's not just because, it's not just because of, that I think Naomi is awesome, which I do. But it really was the highlight of that. You're missing some stuff.
We can cover when we get to it.
You literally skip stuff.
We can come to this when we get to it later.
Alright.
Yes.
Anyway.
So we go backstage with Tamina and Lana. Tamina says that Lana needs to start helping her, get the opportunity she needs. But Lana comes back and says that you also need to grow in the ring before you can get a title shot.
And Lana discloses her plan to Tamina as to how she's going to get her an opportunity. And
then we get to Daniel Bryan acting like such a daddy in this segment. The Usos come backstage, and then if you ever watch Talking Smack, they throw shades of this where Daniel Bryan does the whole sweet beats routine. And I was like, oh, this does not need to be needed on SmackDown.
We love you, Daniel, but why? Why?
They call out talking about their match at SummerSlam, and then
which is going to be Big E and Xavier instead of it being Kofi in there. But,
which they requested, but they said they will get them instead tonight.
Yeah, and Daniel, you are cool in your own way. You don't need to act cool.
And then we get in the next match we get a rematch with Chad Gable and Rusev. Now, here's the thing: the highlight for that match to me was the belly to belly suplex. That was
I was impressed.
Right after that, I thought this was weird.
Gable literally got thrown past the announce table.
He got thrown to one of the chairs, and the ref automatically calls it off. I'm sitting there going to myself, that happens normally in a match. I don't know. That to me, that was weird. Because normally they don't call that because he didn't get injured, and there was no 10 count.
Yeah, I don't get it either. But anyway.
Then Rusev cuts a promo. He grabs the microphone and he says...
And the crowd's booing him and they're all chanting for Randy.
He says Randy, and all of a sudden Orton comes out of nowhere with an RKO.
And that was glorious.
That pretty much made the segment a lot better for me.
For me, that Randy doing the RKO out of nowhere, that was my highlight. That was my favorite part of SmackDown.
But the thing is, I don't see him winning at SummerSlam.
I don't know. You never know. I mean, the Viper is the Viper. Don't mess with the Viper.
Yeah, but at this point, Rusev needs a win.
I don't know. We'll see. So
next we have AJ Styles come out to address last week's
Pele kick to Shane McMahon that was actually meant for KO, but KO dodged it.
So AJ comes out saying he wants to apologize. Shane comes out and says, no apologies. This was all professional.
Don't
we have
worry
a match
about
coming
it.
up at SummerSlam. And AJ calls for
kind of asks if Shane's going to use what happened.
Reassurance.
If he's going to use that to screw him over. And Shane says that if AJ puts his hands all over him, Shane will throw his hands all over AJ.
And then Kevin Owens comes out.
Shane clarifies, though, before KO comes out, that it's not a threat. It is what it is. KO starts running his mouth. He says that he's thrilled Shane will be ref and appears to be trying to suck up to him. Shane says it's inappropriate for me to shake your hand. And he's like, so shake hands with your opponent. Your opponent, AJ. It looks as if AJ almost hit Shane, and Shane kind of stops.
And then...
Because KO dodged it again.
And then KO, funniest thing, super kick Shane McMahon in the head
After
instead.
AJ moves out of the way.
I thought that was one of the better segments for that.
AJ appears to be kind of smirking in the corner. KO runs away. AJ and Shane appear to be looking at each other, and then both men leave the ring. I have to admit, that was actually really funny.
I still say this is gonna be one of the better matches for
the SmackDown brand on
for the US, for the card in general. And I definitely think that was a good segment.
But again, we would love to know what you guys thought. We want to know everything you guys thought about Raw and now SmackDown, and eventually 205 Live.
Well, next we get to New Day versus the Usos.
And the New Day comes out first with a box of burritos and starts pouring it all over the audience.
Fun fact, all the extra stuff like the tag titles, the burritos, the rainbows, they eat that before they come out to the ring and then just pour the rest on the crowd. Gotta love the New Day.
Mind you, I do tune into Up, Up, Down, Down. Nick Xavier's YouTube channel.
That is true. So, this, honestly, this match wasn't completely memorable in the sense that there wasn't a lot to it. There were a couple backs and forths, but ultimately the only real highlight of the match was closer to the end.
Yeah.
Kofi's in the ring. It's Jimmy, who's also the legal man in the ring. Hits him in the back of the leg. And then they tag in, do the double super kick to Kofi, and then they pin him 1, 2, 3.
Yep. And
doesn't really do much further leading to the SummerSlam match, but I'm still looking forward to it because it's been one of the better tag views on SmackDown.
I have to admit, it is definitely one of the better rivalries that I've seen. So then we get to the Fashion Peak segment.
Hey, fine,
Although I have to admit, the end of it was hilarious.
Fandango says he was abducted by aliens. Tyler Breeze comes in wearing a wig.
And what I think is a dress.
Fandango claims he's holding a moon rock that he got while he was
and with it he can supposedly see the future or something like that.
Essentially comes in and says, "We don't like your pie," and then Fandango investigates and sees that there are clues leading to the danger of the entire tag team division,
including a note, and then it says, "Breezango will return in 25 years," which is really 2 weeks.
So, after SummerSlam goes through the next week throughout in Brooklyn.
Yep.
I still thought it was a good segment. And even you have to admit you liked a bit of it.
I like the end. Because that means no more Fashion Peaks thing. Because they said this was the finale of Fashion Peaks part.
We'll see.
I'm hoping they stick true to that.
But now, we move on to the main event for SmackDown tonight.
Yep.
We get John Cena versus the modern day Maharaja Jinder Mahal.
Yep.
What was that?
Woo.
So, there's a lot of back and forth after Jinder comes out, and then Cena comes out with the crowd chanting, John Cena sucks. And then they start chanting, let's go Cena, Cena sucks.
Let's see, Mahal and the Cena brothers mocking Cena with the "You Can't See Me" throughout the whole time. Mahal does a few throws to the corner, a couple knees, a couple of kicks, a couple of those weird chop things. I don't like how he does that.
Cena connects with his 5-knuckle shuffle, and then there's like a cat and mouse chase all the way around. The ref throws the Singh brothers out after they try to hold Cena back.
Cena locks in the STF. Mahal breaks the submission and tries to gain more momentum, and then Cena gives him an AA. Mahal kicks out, delivers a super AA, and then as Cena's going for the pin, slides in the briefcase by Baron Corbin, and the match gets thrown out. Now here's the thing: he leaves both men flat on the ring after the super AA and walks out. And then he's like, "Oh well, I guess let's
do this." And then he cashed in his briefcase.
And then Cena, I swear, the man with the curse with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
So it's Jinder versus Baron Corbin. Corbin gets distracted by Cena. He goes after Cena, obviously not paying attention to the fact that Jinder's able to get back to his feet. Mahal rolls up Corbin, wins the match. So Corbin cash in.
Like I said, Cena's the man with the curse of the cash in. lost the first time. We don't know to go over the Sandow stick with it, and now this, like, it's weird.
I have to admit that I was actually laughing.
Weird booking.
I was laughing.
But I'm sorry.
I did see the one fan flip off Cena. I did see that.
I'm sorry, but to me, they really kind of shat on the booking there.
I still think it was kind of funny. Come on.
Because you don't even care that much for Baron Corbin.
It's not that. I do think he's talented. It's just the way that it all went down because of the fact that I honestly think it could have been done better. I thought it was funny.
Well, now you know what this means, right?
It takes as long as it takes to record.
Baron Corbin Cena feud?
No. Well, possibly no. So you know that damn well that Cena's going to be losing at SummerSlam.
Oh, yes.
Damn well. I'm pretty sure. Hell, Corbin might just tear him a new one. And it would be good as a monster for give him more heat.
It would. As much as I don't want to admit it.
But now what are your overall thoughts on SmackDown, and considering that this is the last SmackDown before SummerSlam?
Oh, man.
Now we've been getting to this, and I kind of want to bring this to the audience as well. Now I'll start here. I thought Raw had better highlights for their show, for the Go Home show, because it was a lot better of a Raw Go Home show than it used to. I still feel like over the course of the whole episode of SmackDown, I was still into it the whole way through.
And then there's me, who was more invested in Raw than SmackDown this week, and it shocks me to actually have to say that, because it's usually the other way around, with the exception of a couple of segments.
But I want to get this discussion going. Leave your thoughts down below as well. What show you thought was better? What segment, promo? How do you think both have led up to SummerSlam so far?
And before we get into 205 Live,
we'll talk about that at another time.
I would rather say it at the end of the video.
I'll get to that later. Right now, but now with SmackDown out of the way, we come to 205 Live with celebrating Akira Tozawa's celebration.
Which, again, anyway, so it's a tag team match.
We get Cedric Alexander
and Grand Metalik versus
Tony and Drew Gulak. You would think with all the talent on that roster, we get a tag team like that.
As much as I absolutely love watching Cedric Alexander and Grand Metalik, give them somebody else. Anybody else. Please!
We had Drew Gulak cut a promo while they were coming down the segment, pretty much hyping up Tony Nese because, he can't talk himself. I'm sorry.
All I've ever heard Nese talk about is his muscles, and all I just want to do is say, seriously, do you talk about anything else?
Nope. He's the premier athlete, and that's it.
And that's why I prefer TJP. Because...
that's just your favorite cruiserweight in general.
Well, I mean, I've been watching since the Cruiserweight Classic, so I'm allowed.
Please, I'm allowed. Oh, please! I'm watching TJP since he played Suicide in TNA.
That is true. I did catch some of those
when he was being called Manic. I think he was being called Manic back then.
I believe so.
Don't quote me on that one though.
I believe so. But either way, I could go on for a while, and I will get back to TJP in a minute.
So I thought both Cedric Alexander and Drew. I basically thought this just showed Cedric Alexander and Grand Metalik basically a good showing on both their parts.
It was a beautiful. By the way, Grand Metalik, you did an amazing Hurricane Rana.
Here's the thing, Grand Metalik, I feel like she should be pretty higher up on the card than he is now.
I agree.
And I feel like
seriously,
they aren't booking him properly. I don't think. I think it's because
we need more.
I think it's because he can't talk English at all.
He does.
I don't think I've ever seen him speak English.
I'll have to show you. I'll have to show you a video one day, man. Anyway.
But basically,
there's a lot of going back and forth, kick out, moonsault, super kicks.
So basically, Cedric Alexander drops Drew Gulak with the lumbar check and get the 3 count, and they both win the match.
And Noam Dar, Arya Daivari, and I think it's
Lindsay Dorado.
I hope I pronounced that right. If I didn't,
Lindsay
I'm so
Dorado.
sorry. Thank you. Anyway, so Neville comes in looking like a mess. He literally throws the chair in the locker room after Noam, Arya, and Lindsay leave the locker room. He's just beside himself. Like, wow.
When we'll get to it later with the Titus thing, but Neville literally looks like he has not slept since last night.
He really did not look great.
And if he did, well, then the makeup people would really know how to do their job. But next we get Brian Kendrick versus Mustafa Ali.
Although Kendrick looks to be completely and totally distracted. He just keeps looking over his shoulder as if he's expecting something to happen.
Trying to act as he's afraid of the gentleman.
Well, I mean, as nice as gentlemen are, you still don't want to tick them off.
Oh, that's true.
Because they always have a dark side. Always. Anyway, so Ali's been dominating. Kendrick finally gets his act together. He locks in his captain's hook submission. He tries to get to the bottom rope, finally gets there. Kendrick gives a big boot to the side of the head, sends him out of the ring. Brian appears to be dominating, and Brian's about to attack Ali, but then Jack Gallagher comes flying out of nowhere. Like, I did not... So, DQ for that match. Gallagher has attacked Kendrick. Gallagher looks ticked at Brian Kendrick. Like, I have never seen him look that mad.
And later on, there was a backstage segment where basically Kendrick was like, you know what? I'll challenge the man to a duel for next week on 205 Live. We'll settle it then. So
I will admit, I'm looking forward to it. So then we get to a Rich Swann interview, and Rich says he's confident he'll win against TJP to end the best of 3. Daivari comes in, says he's not facing TJP, and Rich is kind of going, what happened to Tej? So instead of it being TJP, it's going to be Daivari versus Swann.
So now we get to our main event, which, oddly enough, is Daivari versus Rich Swann. Daivari leads in a couple of kickouts. He does a couple of his kicks, a couple of suplexes, throws him to the ropes. Both men counter up each other. So Swann breaks out of Daivari's lock. Daivari kicks out of 2.5 after Swann connects with a splash. Daivari rolls out, goes to the top rope. Swann rolls out of the way as Daivari lands.
Kick by Swann.
What's it? It's basically like the Mick kick, but like his
version of the Mick kick.
Yeah, pretty much. Then TJP
comes out. He looks injured in his right knee, leg area,
and it basically distracts Rich Swann, which I think was intentional.
I want to know whether or not you think that TJP's injury was part of kayfabe or if it was real.
No, it was kayfabe. He just did that to distract Rich Swann. He's not gonna hold. Watch. He's gonna be like, "Hey, Rich, what happened to that match?" Nah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I could just see that happening, but I thought
I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard anything either way. I'm kind of hoping that it's kayfabe because knee injuries are not something you want to mess with.
No. But we get
I've had more than a few.
True. We get to our main event segment for 205 Live, which is Akira Tozawa's Championship Celebration.
Yay! I'm so happy for Akira. Like,
well, we'll see what he does now that the company give him the belt. See how he runs with it.
Akira's been grinning from ear to ear. Crowd's chanting what Akira does. With you do better than I do. Titus runs his mouth about Neville losing the title last night. Akira's about to speak, but the crowd starts chanting. Akira says, "Thank you. This is a very important moment for me. This is something that he's wanted for many years." Titus and Akira dance while Titus opens what I think is a bottle of champagne.
Yes.
And Titus gets all nice and says thank you to Akira. They're dancing in the ring. Neville comes out and interrupts the celebration looking like death warmed over. He sounds like he's on the verge of losing it all together, whether that's in anger or breaks down in tears. I'm not sure which. I also would not want to be the one to cross him in this state. Because you never know.
But then they confirmed it at the end of the segment that that we have a confirmed kickoff match for SummerSlam, which will be the rematch between these two for the title.
And Tozawa was the one dominating Neville and literally throwing him into some barricades.
But I think what are your final thoughts, if any?
I have to say this was actually one of the better 205 Lives episodes that I've seen.
And of course the only thing left we got up is NXT, which you can look forward to that tomorrow.
Yep.
This has been NXT. This has been 205 Live and SmackDown. We're here, always gonna be here. This has been another edition. We'll see you guys in the next video. Too sweet me.